the first thing I want to do today, what we're going to do, if you're on Facebook, just check the comment section underneath this video. So if you're trying to get in the room on Facebook, just check the comment section and click in there. If you're coming in the live room, just make sure that your name is visible so I know who you are. But today we're going to do some live seller calls. I've got some leads that need to be contacted. And so we'll do that, and then we'll kind of discuss the calls as they happen, like the method and things like that. Before we make these calls, I want to just kind of think about like what we're looking for before we make the calls. And if I can pull this up, I think this will be very helpful here. We've got several people that are doing our 90-day challenge to 100K in real estate investing. And several people are making these calls every day. They've got a checklist of habits they're trying to keep up with. And one of the things that I noticed is it's good to constantly remember what we're actually looking for. Okay. So I'm going to share on the screen right now kind of a framework for what we're looking for, and then we'll make the calls after I go through these. And hopefully this will help those people that are new to doing deals, or maybe just need just a reminder. Sometimes it's good to remind yourself what you're looking for. Okay. A lot of times people will spend a lot of time thinking about how much to offer or the formula of what to offer on a property. But what we're looking for, it kind of like until you have these four pillars or one of these four pillars very clearly addressed, you really don't need to spend a lot of time on the lead. Okay. So before I spend a lot of time on lead, the first thing I'm looking for is what's the property condition? Okay. Properties that need to be repaired or some kind of renovation. This is a sign that the seller may sell it to me at a discount or on some type of terms that make it a deal. Okay. So pillar number one, just ask, what is the condition of the property? Is there some kind of property distress? Pillar number two, okay, we're looking at the timeline. Are they in a hurry? Okay, sellers that need to move quickly for some personal reason, job, if they need to sell quickly for some reason, maybe there's a tax deadline or there's some kind of, just time frame. What's this last guy? He had to pay the property taxes by a period of time. Maybe they're getting a divorce. They just want to get away from each other as soon as possible, stuff like that. That kind of timeline pressure is a sign of motivation. So we look for that. Pillar number three is just their motivation itself, right? One of my favorite questions to ask a seller on this is like, if you have this property in 6 months, how are you going to feel about that? Like, what will happen if you don't sell this property in the next 3 months? And so the unmotivated people are going to say, oh, it's no big deal. I don't really have to sell it. I'm not in a hurry. Those are not motivated people, right? But a motivated person is going to be like, oh, it's going to sell. It's going to sell. We're going to get it sold. I'm ready to get done with it, move on, right? That's a sign of motivation. So listening to why they're selling, whether it's an inherited property or they have some kind of bill they can't afford, some type of financial distress, is key for finding motivation from a seller. And then lastly, we've got price, right? We've got price. So the price becomes a significant motivator. Okay. We are looking for great prices. We make our money when we buy. So if they are trying to pay off a mortgage, if they're trying to achieve a certain amount of profit, we closed one a couple of weeks ago where the seller just needed 6K in his pocket. That's what the seller wanted, right? He just needed $6,000. So you can structure the deal as creatively as you want when you find out what their actual goal is for selling the property. They might just want to get rid of it and not have the bills associated with it. They might not want to pay the power bill or the light bill or the tax bill, but you find out their price, that's another motivation. So as you're talking to sellers, okay, hopefully this is helpful as we start these seller calls today. Be listening for motivation. Are they focused on price? Are they focused on condition? What's their timeline, right? We're listening for that because as we make these calls, we are looking for signs of motivation. Okay. Let's say that you don't hear any of these signs of motivation. It's like, should I still talk to the lead? Should I still? Absolutely. Like, if you can get somebody on the phone and tell them what you do, there's going to be opportunity the more you do that. So we're absolutely going to do that as much as we possibly can. Okay. Now, the leads that we're calling today are leads that are provided through our virtual assistant service. So if you're looking for leads and you're looking for more sellers to talk to in your particular market, just reach out to me. We can get VAs started calling in your area. We'd be glad to help you do that. But today, I'm just kind of looking at leads that we haven't contacted or leads that need to be followed up on, and we're going to see who answers. I never know who's going to answer the phone or if they're going to answer the phone. Sometimes they answer, sometimes they don't, just like they do for y'all, right? So what I will do though is I'll show y'all an example. I won't show the whole list here, but I'll show you an example of what the leads look like when they come in. So you're going to see my screen right now. Okay. And the first lead we're going to call is this lead in Fort Worth. It looks like it came in at 8:02 this morning. So this is a fresh lead for us to call. Let's see what happens. But the lead kind of shows the phone number, the address of the property, what kind of property it is. So we see that this is a multifamily. His reason for selling, it's an investment property. We don't really get good detail there. Property's in good condition. He wants to hear a cash offer. Okay. I'm not really seeing any sign of motivation in the notes provided by the virtual assistant. Looks like he can close in 30 days. There's a tenant there. So we don't have a ton of information on motivation. So this is a good example of one where we're going to call and just see if we can find any motivation. I'm not seeing any in the lead in particular, so I don't get super excited, but we get them on the phone and we see what happens. So let's do it. Let's see what happens. Hey, this is John.
Please leave your message for.
All right, so our first call, we didn't get an answer, so we're going to call twice. Okay, why do we call twice? Because people answer more the second time. So let's just see if we get lucky.
Please leave your message for
Peter. All right, so we didn't get an answer. Hey, Peter, this is John Crutchfield, Grab the Map Properties. You told one of my assistants that you were looking to sell a property in Fort Worth. I'll send you a text message right now, but I'd love to talk to you. I buy properties in Fort Worth. So give me a call back or send me a text. Thanks. All right, so what we do is we call twice, and then we send a text message with exactly what I just said, and then we also leave a voicemail. And we just go down the list doing that. That's the method of getting in touch with these people. Generally, we're going to call twice because they answer. We text because we get a better response from text messages. I'll just say, this is John Crutchfield with Grab the Map. Want to talk to you about buying your property in Fort Worth. And I'll just ask, when's a good time to talk? Okay. All right, so text message is sent. He's got it there. I could tell he doesn't have an iPhone. If he had one, I could tell. And so now we just move on to the next lead. All right, so before we do that, because we do have a room with some folks in it here, questions, comments, what do y'all think? Is there another way that you all would get in touch with this person? What might you want to add on here? What y'all think? Comments, suggestions? We're going to keep calling. Let's look at the next one. We've got Mr. Mark in Oklahoma City. Looks like we'll look at the lead here. Let's see what our note says. He's 82 years old. He's retired. He's been trying to get rid of his houses. Prices can be negotiable, available for a call on Monday. Hey, what today is? Today's Monday. So we're going to give him a call. This is what the lead looks like right here. So we can see the address of the property, the phone number. We can see the price that he's asking for, the Zestimate here. Okay. Seems like he does have some motivation, but it looks like the price that he's asking for is not a lot of equity, but the property's in good condition. So the only thing you can do is like gather the information and then call and see what happens, right? So don't spend a lot of time thinking about it. We'll just pick up the phone and give him a call. Let's see what happens. Hey, Mr. Mark, this is John Crutchfield. How are you?
Pardon me?
Hey, Mr. Mark, can you hear me?
Yeah,
This is John Crutchfield. You had told one of my assistants the other day you might be looking to sell a property in Oklahoma City.
yeah.
Okay. Do you have time to talk to me? I want to just talk about it. They gave me all the details you gave them, but I'm the actual buyer. So they said Monday might be a good time to talk.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So right now they tell me that it's rented with a tenant in there paying $1,000 a month. Is that right?
I think that's right. I'd have to look, but I think it's 1,000 a month.
Okay. And what has you interested in selling this one?
What has me interested?
Yes, sir.
Well, somebody called me. I didn't call them.
Right. Right. Well,
I don't have it on the market.
yes, sir. Well, they put a note here that you're getting ready to retire, and
Yeah.
I'm one of these young guys that's getting into it, buying properties. So I think that's why we gave you a call.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Is it worth getting in? I guess I should ask you that. Is it worth getting in?
Is it what?
Is it worth it? Is it worth being in real estate?
In real estate?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you won't regret it.
Won't
They
re-
have to.
Stay after it. Okay.
I'm 80 years old and I got about 30 of them.
Okay.
And I want to slow down a little bit.
How how'd you, I know we called you, but how'd you decide on this one right here? Is this one that you would sell for any particular reason, or you'd sell any of them just to kind of cut your number down?
I can sell any of them.
Okay.
Pick one out.
Okay. How do you price them when you sell them to us? Because I know I've kind of got a formula that I like to buy at, but how do you price them when you get ready to sell them?
Most of you guys want to buy them for nothing. I mean, I realize, and I don't blame you for trying, but I've been in this shit for 50 years. And I know about what they're worth. I do this all the time. So
So you kind of price them at what they're
there's
worth.
one around the corner there. You can look it up, 42 something on Northwest 12th.
Mm-hmm.
I just called about it. They got it for rent. It's $1,500 a month.
Yeah. And when you were buying, how did you buy when you were buying? Did you try to buy them at a discount, or did you pay what they were worth?
I always pay cash. I always buy them. I usually pay market value for them.
Okay. So you paid market value and then just let them pay off over time.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything wrong with this one? Like they put a note here that it's in good condition. Is there any work I would have to do to this one?
The people's been there. They've been there ever since I bought it. I bought it 20 years ago or more.
Okay.
And they've been there all this time.
Okay.
And they're good tenants. Usually if something goes wrong, they just fix it or call me and get it done. So I imagine the house needs a little work, but it's a nice home.
Okay. And it sounds like you might sell more than one of these at a time. Would you sell a group of them if I came and sat down with you and looked at that?
Oh, I don't, like I said, I ain't quite ready to dump them all yet. I deal more in land now than I do in houses.
Okay. That you just don't have to deal with the tenants.
Don't have to deal with tenants.
Yeah. Now this house here, I'm looking at some photos on the internet. This one here, does it have central heating there or is it all window units?
It has central heat and air. I don't know.
Looks like they got a
Uh,
window unit sticking out of one of the windows.
They may
But
have.
but
I
it's
don't.
but it's got a central unit.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I don't
Well,
know if it's working or not. I don't. They hadn't said anything about it
okay.
not working.
Do you get text messages on your phone here?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit of research. I'm gonna text you my name and my company name, and then I'll give you a call back maybe within a couple hours here, just after I look at some information and see what I could offer on it. And I know
Okay.
you said we try to pay nothing for them, but do you think there's some room in here where maybe I make a little money and you make a little money, or do you think you're gonna just want retail value?
Make me an offer. We'll see where it goes.
Okay, give me a few hours to do a little research, but I will text you my name so you know who's calling you back.
Okay. Okay. What was your name?
John Crutchfield.
John. Okay, John.
Hey, thank you, Mark. Talk to you later.
Thanks.
All right, bye. All right, folks. So that call went about as well as we could expect, and we got plenty of stuff to talk about on this call. So, folks that are in the room, okay, there's a couple of things I like about this seller. Number one, he is my typical seller, right? My typical seller is an older person. They've been in the game a long time. He's got, what did he say? He's got 20 years of owning this property. He's also got 30 other properties. So this is one of those people, y'all, where you find them, you build a relationship with them. This is not something where you have to get a deal done on the first call you talk to him, right? But this guy has multiple properties. He's getting tired. He's retired. He knows the business, right? Aaliyah's shaking her thumbs up. Yeah, this is a seller. I tell so many wholesalers and people getting in the business, like you could do deals with this guy for the next 2 years, right? You could just do them one at a time, or you could buy a package of them. You don't have to rush a situation like this because this is all about now like building rapport. Like this is about not spooking him off. So, anyways, this is a good seller. He answers the phone. A couple of things that I noted here. He tells me about the property. He tells me about the tenant, and then he also tells me about the business. Right. So I made it seem personal for him. He'll tell me if real estate's worth it. Y'all, that's a great question to just have conversations with sellers, right? He says the real estate market is worth it. You won't regret getting in. Did y'all hear that? And then he also proceeds to tell me, about other investors. So he knows the business. He knows the buy low part. I asked him if he bought low, and he said he bought at retail price. So if that's true, that means you can buy at retail price and still do well in real estate. But he bought cash, so he probably also tried to get some good deals. He might have been pulling my chain there. But anyways, because we do a two call close anyway, there's no need for me to rush and make an offer on this call, okay? Because I need to gather some information. I'm going to now look closer at the market, look at if there's other houses selling. What is this house actually worth? This is when you comp. Now that you saw, we have a motivated seller. He is somewhat motivated, but he did say, y'all called me. I didn't list it for sale, right? And that's why we don't just cold call, because cold calling, you do get a lot of people like that that are like, well, I don't want to sell it. You called me. But the last question I asked him is meant to find out his timeline, right? How motivated is he? So when I said, are you going to be stuck on retail price, or are you open to us both making a little money here? He says, make me an offer. Isaac, you were asking about that a few weeks ago. That's when we make an offer, right? We make an offer because he said to make an offer, and he knows our business, and he still says make an offer. Okay. So we can go two ways. We can make some more calls. I'll flag this one to make an offer later, or I could just kind of talk y'all through the process I would go through to make this guy an offer, and then we could call him back and make one. People in the chat here or online, y'all tell me which one y'all want to do. Y'all want to do some more calls? Would that be helpful, or do y'all want to? to kind of work an offer on this particular property. Good to see you, Solace, jumping in the room. Leah, Josh, Matt, Riz, to see you all in here as well. Let's see in the chat. Isaac says both if you have time. All right. So y'all probably can see my screen. And I'll just go through like how I'm gonna make an offer to this seller, just like my thought process. And then we'll call him back and we'll make an offer and just see what happens. This property here is in Oklahoma City. So this is not a place where I want to own rental properties. This is a place where I would wholesale. Okay. I would not want to own rentals in Oklahoma City. So my criteria automatically say this is a play where I need to build in a wholesale fee. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this address and I'm just going to run some comps on this address. Okay. We use something called Propelio to run comps. So we're going to pull this up right here. And it kind of gives us some information on sales in the area. Okay. So you all should be seeing this on the screen. We've got a price range here where it's estimating the value at 168. We could tell that he bought it, like he said, 20 years ago. Do y'all see what he bought it for? Somebody put it in the chat. Do y'all see what he bought it for? Do y'all see what the man bought it for? Real estate has got to be worth it, y'all. 20 years ago, he paid 35K for the property. Do y'all see that? Okay. So a wholesaler that's offering him less than 35K, I think you're going to go out of business, right? You have this data here. It's available to you, right? You know what he paid for it. So I probably wouldn't go any lower than that as I'm thinking about my offer. But one of the things we're going to do is we're just going to click this comparable sales button. And there's a lot of tools like this that you can use, but it will show you what properties are selling for in this area. Okay. I like to use a half a mile. Are y'all seeing what I'm seeing? Aaliyah says, make him an offer, get him while he's fresh. Yes, we make offers not on the first call. We make offers to call close. Okay. And usually with a motivated guy or somebody that's, I've talked to recently, we're going to make an offer the same day as the first call. Okay. Doesn't mean he'll take it. But yes, that's why I told him I would call him back in 2 hours because we are on this call for another 30 minutes. But I told him I would call back in 2 hours. So since y'all are open to make an offer today, we're going to make an offer today. Aaliyah says, what website is this? You should see it on your screen. It's propelio.com. There is a cost to the service, but it's inexpensive. There are other free services. All you got to do is, Google it, chat GPT it. You can find other comping services. But this is one that we like because it has a lot of features within the same app. We can skip trace here. We can also look for buyers here as well. But take a look. The comments in red are going to be the other properties that have sold within half a mile. And what's also cool is you can see what these properties look like compared to our property. So this one here is 1,159 square feet. It's a 2-car garage, and it looks like it sold for 180. It was on the market for 31 days. Okay, 31 days. I like a market where things are selling within 31 days. Here's another one, same square footage. It looks like it sold within 1 day on market, and it looks like it sold for 135. So that's a big range. That's a big range. If we went in and drilled in, we could see the photos from the sale. I'm kind of clicking through them right now. You have to zoom in if you are trying to see this on my screen. But this kind of gives me an idea of the condition of the property when it sold. That's why it sold for 135 because it needed some work. It's a little dated. Okay. But to speed this up a little bit, we've got another one here. This one looks like a flip. Sold for 182. Let's click on it. This one sold for 182. It's a 4-bedroom, 1 bath. It took 76 days to sell. So this is your flip, right? This is somebody who bought as a flip and they renovated it completely. So this would be a comp for somebody that was house flipping or investing in rental properties. This is the one we'll use. This is a good comp. It's got 1 extra bedroom, so we want to be a little bit careful with our ARV, but this is a comp that we will use to make an offer on this house. Okay. All right. So we got 4104 Northwest 11th. It's not quite the same street, but it's pretty darn near close. We're gonna take this 182. Okay. And what we're gonna do today, just to make things simple, because like y'all, you just gotta make the offers. You don't know what he's gonna say. Okay. But we're gonna make an offer by taking our calculator, and instead of using the 182, we're gonna use 170. Okay. So we're gonna use 170 as the ARV. How did I come up with 170? I just showed you all we've got comps here for 180, similar square footage. Okay, we've got comps here. And I'm just being a little conservative. I'll take $10,000 off just for fun. Okay, you have discretion as an investor. If y'all have questions, put them in the chat box. But I'm going to try to talk through this so we can call him back on this call. I'm going to take 170,000 and I'm going to multiply it by 70%. Why 70%? So old way of doing it. Well, I'm multiplying it by 70% because why am I multiplying by? Oh, because I want to make 30% on the deal, right? I need to pay my lender and I need to pay taxes and insurance and holding costs for doing this. So I'm taking off 30% of the ARV. Okay. I also need to subtract for rehab cost. Okay. Now, y'all don't know this, but I'm gonna put y'all in the game. How long did he say this tenant has lived in this property? Did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear it? Somebody
20
put in
years.
20 years. Okay. What does that mean? That means this property has not been rehabbed in 20 years. It means it hasn't been fixed and there's going to be some problems. He also told us that houses in the area are renting for $1,500 a month. Did y'all hear him say that? All we have to do in Propelio is click this link right here. We can confirm that. See if we see any similar. This one looks like a 2-bedroom, 1 bath rented for 1,100. So he's probably telling the truth. Okay, that houses are renting for a little bit more than what he's renting for. So it's under rented for $1,000 or maybe $800 a month, and it needs work. Okay. So when you think about the fact that he's renting it for less, you need to estimate it's going to need some rehab. It's going to need some rehab. Now, he said the property is in good condition. He said the property is in good condition. Hey, let me tell y'all something. Good condition means different things to different people. Okay. Good condition to one person could be everything is pristine and in fantastic shape. Good condition to somebody else could mean the tenant has lived there for 20 years and I haven't ever done a rehab to the property. So this is going to be a property that needs some work. Okay. For the purposes of making an offer today, we are just going to use $30 a square foot for a cosmetic rehab. Now, we're starting there. Okay. Rehabs today could cost $30 a square foot, or they could cost $75, $80 a square foot. But we're starting at $30 because we don't want to spook the guy and because we're going to make offers. This is a volume game. Obviously, if you're trying to make, 15, 20 offers a day, you shouldn't spend a ton of time on this process, but we're kind of walking through it. Okay. So we're going to take the square footage on this one, which is 1152. We're going to multiply 1152 times 30. Okay, that gives us a $35,000 rehab. About. Y'all following me in the room? Y'all put in the chat box. If you're watching this on Facebook, put something down below. Let me know you're following me. So we took our ARV of 170. Okay, we multiplied it by 70%. We got 119. We're taking off 35,000 for the rehab. So now we're at 84.5. Okay, that's what we can offer this seller. But remember, we're going to wholesale this deal. Y'all remember that? We're going to wholesale this deal. So we need to also include some money in there for us to be able to wholesale this to another investor. That means we need to take off some money for a wholesale fee. Okay. Our minimum fee is 10K. Your minimum fee might be higher or lower. So you would just deduct what your minimum wholesale fee is. Okay. So if I was drawing this out on a board, I'm gonna say it one more time for the people in the front and the back and on the side and myself. We have an ARV of 170,000. We multiply that by 70% because we want to profit 30%, or we want to have 30% of profit potential in there. We took off $35,000 for repairs. Okay, that gave us 84,000 as, or yeah, 84,000 as our max allowable offer. And then we're also going to take off 10, 20, $30,000 for our potential wholesale fee. Depends on what you're looking to charge. Okay. So 84,000 is going to be our max allowable offer for this deal. It might be 74,000 if we have a 10K assignment fee. Okay. Now, I'm gonna ask y'all this. Are you gonna make an offer at your max allowable offer when you talk to this guy? Do you make an offer at your max allowable offer when you call him back? What do y'all think? The answer is no. Okay. You never start at your top dollar when you're making an offer. What we're going to do is we're going to ask him for his number again, right? We're going to see where his number is. If his number comes back and it's under 84, right? Then we're going to try to work with this seller because he's under our max allowable offer. And we're in the business to help people. We love helping people. We love doing deals with people that are win-wins on both sides. Okay. If his number is higher than 84, then we're going to talk to him about how he came up with that number. And we're going to talk to him about what we can actually offer him and why our offer is a good offer. Okay. So we're going to call him back while we got time, and we'll see what happens. If y'all have questions or comments before we call him back, go ahead and come off of mute and ask now. Give him a little time. Oh, Isaac says, what's a good estimate for rehabs? $30 being just cosmetic. We're using $30, but Isaac, I will tell you, $30 is low nowadays. $30 is low for a cosmetic rehab. We're using this because right now is a competitive environment for what we do. Okay. And we don't want to spook a seller off by lowballing them and saying, okay, well, the rehab on this is going to be $60 a square foot. And then we only offer this guy 35,000, which is what he paid for it. We're not in that business. I have found it is better to offer $30 to $40 rehab, kind of think about it that way. And then when you come out, meet the seller, when you come look at the property, when you do the appointment, if you see the rehab, or maybe I should say, when you see the rehab is going to cost more than 35K, that's when you're going to retrade. That's when you're going to tell the seller, hey, needs a lot more work than you told me. This needs a lot more work than I thought. I might need to come down a little bit. Once you're under contract, the seller sees that you've put earnest money, you've put time into coming to visit the property, you're going to have a better shot at getting the price down than if you're virtually wholesaling in a market that you're not in. You never met this guy, and you try to get him to come down on his price without him seeing that you're serious. Does that make sense, Isaac? So we start off at a rehab that could work. It could work. Okay. $35,000 on a house like this will let you change the AC. It'll let you change the flooring. It'll let you paint the house. It'll let you update paint. It'll let you update the bathrooms. It will go a long way. Okay. But yeah, you start at a place where you can get the conversation started, get to the property, and then retrade if you have to. Okay. We don't really want to be in the business of retrading like as a business practice. So if he was telling us that this property was not lived in, it had been vacant for years, we would estimate rehab at a higher price. Okay. If we get more photos of this property that demonstrate to us that we got some serious issues, then we also would do the same thing, right? We're going to estimate the rehab at a higher price. But today, for efficiency's sake, because so many of y'all spend too much time making offer. Like you got to make the offer, right? We spend too much time analyzing things before we even know if this guy will take this. If I tell this guy, hey, I'm going to offer you 60,000 or 55,000, and he hangs up on me Like all that time I spent coming up with an offer, analyzing the deal was a waste. Okay. Maybe I got some practice, but it was a waste of time. So we want to see how motivated this guy is before we kind of spend a bunch of time on this. And the more motivation he shows, the more likely that it looks like you have an opportunity, the deeper you can get into like spending your time on it to do an actual inspection, see how much rehab you're really going to need, call your buyers. We have several buyers in Oklahoma City. So this is a great one where we get this guy to agree to sell this property to us at a reasonable price. We can call buyers in Oklahoma City and say, what should I pay for this? Right. And that's how we're going to wholesale it. Good question. Any other comments or questions before we call this guy back? Let's just see what happens. Let's see what happens.
Hello, Solace.
Hey, Solace, you kind
Can
of
you
late.
hear me?
Go for
I
it.
know. Yeah, so when you said you would call buyers to say, hey, what would you pay for this? Are these buyers that you have done deals with, that you know, that you trust, or they're just like buyers you don't have a relationship with?
Right. So both, but mainly I was speaking about buyers that we already have a relationship with.
Would you call and ask them before you put the property under contract or after?
For me, I would call them before I put the property under contract. Again, these are people I have a relationship with.
Oh,
If
okay.
if people you don't have a relationship with, maybe you wouldn't do that. Maybe you would go ahead and put it under contract.
Okay. All
Me
right.
personally, I would call people that I have a relationship with because I want the property sold really before I risk anything. Again, that's a risky move if you haven't done business with the buyers before. In Tulsa,
Mm.
Oklahoma City,
Never
we
get
have
that.
relationships with high volume buyers. And I have to mute you because there's an echo happening. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Let's call this guy back and see if we can make an offer here.
Hello.
Hey, Mr. Mark, this is John calling you back. How are you?
Yeah,
All right. So I looked at this house here and I'm interested. The neighborhood looks like it's okay. I've done business in that area before. So, before I make you an offer and you said we try to get it for nothing, I figured I should ask you because sometimes we can create win-win situations. Have you thought about a number where you would sell this house and you would feel good, but I also might be able to make a little bit of money?
50,000 on it, but whatever, make me an offer.
Now you told my assistant a different number. Is that number gone up since you talked to her?
No, I don't think so.
Let me look because I probably would not have bothered you. 150,000, that's kind of what I'm seeing it would be worth if I fixed it up and did all the work to it. Have you done any rehab on this property since they've been living there? I was assuming I would have to do work.
Not lately, no.
Okay. Okay, yeah, they may have mistaken what you were asking for here.
What they have. I haven't wavered much on the price.
Well, she says 130,000, but that you would be negotiable. It says you're interested in selling, you had a bunch of houses and you're kind of looking to retire. I know that if I was taking the 150,000 as that's what it would be worth if I fixed the house up.
Yeah,
And then I kind of figured it's going to take 35 to 45,000 to fix it up. Does that sound right to you?
possibly.
You been in there lately? Have you been in there?
I've never been in it.
Oh, no way. You never been in it since you bought
Never
it?
seen it. I've owned it 20 years, never been inside.
You mean you bought this house in 2007 and you never been in that house?
Yeah.
That's
Never-
amazing.
Never.
I actually need to meet you. That's
Huh?
I mean, and now you see how much these houses have went up since you bought it, huh?
I bought it from the street.
You bought it from the
Just
street.
drove by and looked at it and laid them off.
So you have a maintenance guy that does your maintenance?
Yeah, man.
Oh, so but you haven't had to do maintenance in this one? Miss,
Do what now?
you heard me, Mr. Mark, but you haven't had to do maintenance in this one.
I don't, they do their own maintenance. That old boy's pretty handy. He takes care of most everything.
So you think he really wants to stay? He wants to stay in there as a tenant.
Yeah, but I just left over there. I told him I was gonna sell it. If he wanted to buy it, if it get along.
Okay.
So he's working on it.
Okay. So it doesn't make any sense for me to make you an offer much under 130 now.
No, not right now, anyway.
If I was if I was if I was somewhere in the 70s, that's way too low.
Yeah, hell, you couldn't do that.
You want me to text it to you just so you have my number in case you decide to sell it to me?
Yeah, text me.
All right, I'll text you shortly. Thanks for talking to me.
All right,
All right,
thanks.
bye.
Uh-huh.
All right, y'all. I love this business. All right, so what happened there? Okay. I get more information, right? He's asking for 150 for me because because he's 82 years old and he forgot that he told my assistant that he wanted 130. Okay. And then it never fails that when you tell them, well, if I could offer you 70, okay, that wouldn't work. He says no, but then you say, can I text it to you? Text them the offer. It's more real. They see it on their phone. If he can get that tenant to pay him 130 for the house, I would do the same thing. I would do the same thing if I was him, right? But if he can't get that tenant to buy that house, y'all, I guarantee you, a tenant has. Did y'all hear what this man said? He's owned the house for 20 years. He's never been inside. That's what he said. Y'all, this house is a disaster. This house needs work. Now, it could be okay. It could be in good condition, but I doubt it. I doubt it. Okay. So he knows that that house needs $45,000 in work. And he also knows that I know that. Why does he know that I know that? Because I told him. Right. So it's a math game at this point. Okay. The math game is the ARV is 150. It needs $45,000 in work. Okay. I need to make 30%, which in this case, because I'm dealing with somebody who owns 30 houses, I handle this guy a way different way than I would handle somebody who's a homeowner who's selling a property in foreclosure or they have some kind of tax problem, right? This guy is not a rookie. So I approached him like somebody who does deals. Instead of me saying, would you take 50,000 for it? I say, well, it doesn't make any sense for me to offer you this, right? What am I really doing? I'm trying to see what his reaction to it is without actually offering it to him.
Get to know.
Yeah, let's just see what he says. Right? Let's see what he says. Anyways, that was a pretty cool one. So while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to text him and then get y'all's thoughts. What are y'all thoughts on this call? We might have time for one more today. What would you have done differently? Because I know we've got some people on here. It looks like maybe Aaliyah has done some deals. Solace has done some deals. Isaac's talking to sellers right now. Matt's done some deals. So if y'all have feedback, we're still on Facebook. Give the people some feedback. I'm going to text him while y'all are talking. Josh, what do you think about this one?
I knew the guy wasn't going to sell from the get go. He was never going to meet your number. I mean, he said, I know what it's worth. When he said that to me, it's like, this guy is not playing around, especially if he's got 30 rentals already. He knows the game. So, and I probably wouldn't have done anything, but I'm glad you did because I think that you established communication. I think that you built a relationship. I think you maintained contact with them through the text message. All of that is good. All the deals aren't dead yet because the guy's potentially got 30 houses he's going to need to sell, or his relatives may need to sell because he's 80 something years old. So if you're staying in contact with this guy, something could happen down the line for sure. And where I
100%.
initially would have just said, he's not selling, leave him alone.
150,000% what you just said.
Yeah.
Right. This
I
is
knew
not.
I knew from the get-go, the guy's not selling. He knows his houses. But I knew
I will tell you this,
contact.
Josh. I
You
will
did
tell you
good.
you would be surprised on some of these guys. Like they will sell stuff at a discount. He knows. I I almost feel like he might have lied to me. Like he might have lied when he said he's never been in the house because then he just told me that he just came from the house. I don't know if y'all heard that.
I didn't catch that part.
He said he just came from the house and just talked to the tenant, right? So I'm not sure which one of those is true, but I will tell you sometimes they know the condition of these houses way more than we do. Like I'm in Dallas today calling a guy in Oklahoma City. I've never seen the property and he knows that. So he knows how bad that property is. And sometimes it's in such bad shape that he's like, let me get this 70,000 while I can, right? But I will tell you this. My phone number in his phone with a text message that says, "Hi, this is John Crutchfield. Nice talking to you. I'm the investor that offered you 70,000 for 4400 Northwest 11th Street. I'd love to talk to you about some other houses that might work for us, right?" So I'm going to call this guy back in a few days and try to see if he'll talk to me about another house, right? And as we start the relationship going, this is when something's going to give. If you've got 30 properties and you're 82, you're going to sell something at a discount.
And he gave you a clue that he is into land and he buys and sells land more often than anything. Because
Yeah, he's out of the house business. He's
right,
tired of dealing with tenants. And Isaac is saying in the chat, great conversation. He wasn't going to accept the offer. I'm telling you, Isaac, you never know. Like, be careful saying they're not going to take the offer because you have to make it to know that. You got to make it to know
you're
that.
right.
I
You're
have
right.
seen, and sometimes y'all, like an offer in writing is more considered than an offer over the phone. This is why a lot of people are very successful sending mailers, right? Where they're mailing offers out. An offer that somebody has in their hand, it gives somebody something to think about. Like, you never know what day you're going to catch them. Are you going to catch them on the day where they just got a big sewer bill on a property? Are you going to catch them on a day where they got a tax bill due? Like, you make the offers because you just don't know. And most of the times, you're right, Isaac. Most people are not going to say yes. That's not the business that we're in. But if we make 30 offers, which right now in my business, if I make 30 offers, somebody's going to say yes. That's the deal. Now, what if this guy says, nah, you know, 74,000 is too high? Well, what if I said, well, it's rented for $1,000? What if I offered you $100,000 and I just gave it to you in payments for the next 30 years? He probably owns this property free and clear. So this is why you keep the conversation going because there are multiple ways to make offers. What if you got this property under contract at 100K, you're paying the seller 500 a month, but then you're able to get this tenant that's in there to give you 10 grand or 15 grand and you owner finance it to the tenant. He may not even be thinking about that. The seller might not be thinking that that's an option. So you keep the conversation going so that you can see if there's a way for you to do business, help the seller, help yourself. Okay. Other comments? Sometimes I didn't expect us to only do one call today, but this was good because he answered. We were able to make him an offer. You kind of see how the process goes. And yes, Isaac, I would say we do more deals with follow-ups than we ever do with people the first time we talk to them. And you just never know, y'all. This man could call me back in 2 months and say, "You still want the property for 70K?" And at his age, he might forget and he might offer it to me for 55 or 60. It's just the truth. That's what happens. That's why we make the offers. But the truth is, somebody is following up with this guy. So if you never follow up with him, you never have a chance. You call this guy every day until he tells you to stop calling him. Well, in this case, we'll call him every week until he tells us to stop calling him. I want to give him some time to think about this offer. What other comments, questions? Aaliyah, Matt, Solace, the floor is open right now for questions or comments on this call. I'm going to take this screen share off. Hey, Facebook, if you have comments or questions, you want to get in the room, you're always welcome to do this. We do this every Monday at 12 noon. So you're welcome to come in the room. I'm going to turn the Facebook off, but as always, just shoot me a DM if I can help you in your business, and we will chat then. Ain't y'all tell